Hello everyone. I hope you all are fine. So today we are going to study a very interesting topic, that is human skeleton system. All right. So first of all, let's talk about what is skeleton system. So skeletal system is also known as skeleton. It is a framework of bones and cartilage that provide the structure and shape to the body. All right. Okay. So skeleton is a framework for the shape of the body. It consists of the bones and cartilages. Bones are connected with each other by joints. It allows locomotion or movement to the body. It protects the internal organs from an injury. Now come to next slide. The adult human skeleton is made up of 206 bones. These include the bones of skull, spines, ribs, arms and legs. तो हमारे ह्यूमन स्केलेटन सिस्टम के पास 206 बोन्स होते हैं, जिसमें स्कल, स्पाइन, रिब्स, आर्म्स एंड लेग्स और बहुत सारे बोन्स होते हैं. Our human skeleton system is divided into two parts, axial skeleton and appendicular skeleton. So axial skeleton के अंदर स्कल होता है, वर्टिब्रल कॉलम होता है, रिब्स होता है और अपेंडिकुलर स्केलेटन के अंदर पेक्टोरियल गर्डल्स होते हैं और पेल्विक गर्डल्स होते हैं. सो स्कल क्या करता है? स्कल प्रोटेक्ट्स द ब्रेन एंड वर्टिब्रल कॉलम प्रोटेक्ट्स द स्पाइनल कॉर्ड. Ribs and sternum protects the heart and lungs and liver. Pectoral girdles attachment of arms को कहते हैं और pelvic girdles attachment for legs को कहते हैं. Now let's come to next slide, that is axial skeleton and appendicular skeleton. So first of all we'll talk about what is axial skeleton. So look at these pictures. That center portion is known as axial skeleton. That portion, that blue portion is known as axial skeleton. और इसमें क्या क्या होता है? Skull, rib cage, that is rib cage. All right. And this is hyoid. This is ear ossicle. Okay. Now look at the next picture. That is appendicular skeleton. That red portion is known as appendicular skeleton. The outer portion of the skeleton is known as appendicular skeleton. इसके अंदर क्या क्या होता है? Shoulder girdle, arms, hand, pelvic girdles, leg and foot. All right. Now come to next slide. So let's talk about axial skeleton, that is skull. The skull protects the brain as well as the spinal sense organ of vision, hearing and balance, taste and smell. It consists of 29 bones. तो skull क्या होता है? This is skull. All right. There are total 29 bones. और वो bones कौन कौन से होते हैं? That is facial bones, cranium, ear ossicles and hyoid. Facial bone has total 14 bones, cranium has 8 bones and ear ossicles has 6 bones and hyoid has only 1 bone. Now look at this picture. You don't have to remember all those name of bones. You will study in next class. So just look at this picture. All right. So there are 14 bones in facial bones. And this is cranium. That upper portion of the skull is known as cranium. Cranium has total 8 bones. And this is ear ossicles. Ear ossicles has 3 bones. Both ear has 6 bones, but in one ear there are 3 bones. Okay, do you know what is the smallest bones of the body? That is steps. The smallest bone of human body is steps, that is present in ear. All right. Okay. Next is hyoid. Hyoid. This is hyoid. Look at this. This is hyoid. This is hyoid जो कि यहाँ present होता है. Okay. Next, come to next slide. That is vertebral column. Vertebral column is also known as backbone. It extends from the base of the skull to the hip. It consists of 33 small rings like bones called vertebra. The spinal cord passes through these. Thus, it protects spinal cord. तो vertebral column क्या करता है? हमारे spinal cord को protect करता है. Alright. इसके पास टोटल 33 बोन्स होते हैं, 33 रिंग्स होते हैं जो कि हमें अपराइट करने में हेल्प करते हैं, वो हमें झुकने में भी हेल्प करते हैं। सपोज अगर हमारे पास स्पाइनल कॉर्ड होता ही नहीं तो क्या होता, हम बिल्कुल रोबोट जैसे खड़े होते, हम सब कुछ एकदम सीधे खड़े होके करते, हम मूव नहीं कर पाते, झुक नहीं पाते। ऑलराइट, नाउ कम टू नेक्स्ट स्लाइड, दैट इज rib cage. Now what is rib cage? Rib cage has total 24 ribs and that is in 12 pairs. Alright. The rib cage is also known as chest bone, जो कि हमारे चेस्ट पे प्रेजेंट होता है. Alright. So the rib cage or the chest bone is a bony structure which is attached to the vertebral column and sternum in human, and it is helpful in the protection of heart and lungs. It has 24 ribs and 12 pairs, right? 10 pairs attached to the breastbone and 2 pairs are free called floating bones. Okay, look at this picture. This is your rib cage. All right. So this portion is known as true ribs. Why it is called true ribs? Because it is directly attached to the sternum. That is why it is known as true ribs. And false ribs because it is not directly attached to the sternum. And this is floating ribs. These two bones are known as floating ribs because they are not attached to any bones. Alright. These are attached to the sternum but not attached to the main rib cage. Alright. Now come to next slide. Girdle. What is girdle? A set of bones found in the appendicular skeleton connecting the arms on either side. It consists of 6 bones. Girdle are two types, pectoral girdles and pelvic girdles. So first of all, we'll talk about what is pectoral girdles. So the pectoral girdle is also known as the shoulder girdle. Is the bony structure, upper part of the body connects the upper limbs to the axial skeleton. Alright, so look at this upper part of the skeleton, that one, that portion is known as shoulder girdle. That one shoulder girdle. Okay, क्या इसमें क्या क्या होता है, आर्म्स होते हैं, हैंड होते हैं, जिसको हम पेक्टोरियल girdles कहते हैं. ऑलराइट, एंड नेक्स्ट इज लोअर लिम्स. लोअर लिम्स में क्या होते हैं, लोअर लिम्स में होते हैं लेग, जिसे हम पेल्विक girdle कहते हैं. ऑलराइट, नाउ कम टू नेक्स्ट स्लाइड, दैट इज limbs. There are 30 bones in limbs. There are typically paired appendages of the body that are used for various functions such as movement and manipulation. In human and many animals, limbs can include arms, leg, hand, feet, and even wings in the case of birds. These body parts are essential for activities like walking, running, grasping objects, and flying depending on the species. Alright, so limbs में कितने बोन होते हैं, 30 बोन्स इन ईच. लाइक हमारे एक हाथ में 30 बोन होते हैं, तो टोटल हमारे लिम्स में कितने बोन होते हैं, 120 बोन्स होते हैं. ऑलराइट, लिम्स हमारे बॉडी के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होते हैं. बिकॉज ऑफ लिम्स वी कैन रन, वी कैन वॉक और वी कैन डू एनीथिंग. ओके, ऑलराइट. सो स्टूडेंट, today we have studied about the skeleton system. Alright, that skeleton system has 206 bones that are divided in two parts, axial skeleton and appendicular skeleton. Axial skeleton के अंदर क्या क्या आता है, skull, rib cage and vertebral column. And appendicular skeleton के अंदर क्या आता है, pectoral girdles and pelvic girdles. Alright, so next topic is joints and we will study that topics in our next class. Alright, thank you student.